Hello, my name is Jacob Owens. I'm the executive editor of the Cecil Whig newspaper. We welcome you here this morning where we have the two candidates for the 2012 county executive race in Cecil County. On my right is Republican Tari Moore, and on my left is Democrat Pam Howard. We're here to answer 7 questions that we believe deal intimately with the future of Cecil County. Each candidate will get a minute and a half response. The other candidate will then get a minute and a half response, and then we will get a 30-second rebuttal to the first person. At the end, we will have time for a 1-minute closing statement. The first question: how do you envision the role of county executive and its impact on how government will work in Cecil County? We've decided that Tari Moore will take the first question, and she will have a minute and a half to respond.
Thank you, Jake. Moving from our current form of commissioner government to executive government to charter will be a significant transition. I'm committed to working cooperatively with our council to make this happen. How the transition will work is that the council will be responsible for the laws and the ordinances, and the county executive will be responsible for the day-to-day operation of the county. As such, though, there still needs to be much cooperation and a good working relationship between the council and the executive, and I'm committed to doing so. What I envision are frequent meetings to help them understand what the issues are going on and what initiatives that the executive would present to them for adoption. All in all, it's very important that we work together as partners for the good of all the people of Cecil County.
And Pam, your response?
I agree with Tari. The executive's role will be crucial to the implementation of charter and making sure that our government runs smoothly. I would like to add to that one of the things that is crippling our current government is the lack of cooperation. I believe I have the proven leadership skills that will enable me to help people join forces and build consensus among the various parties. We have to learn to find some balance. We all can't have our way, and I believe that I can build consensus and get a good, efficient team to manage the day-to-day affairs of the county. Thank you.
And Tari, your 30-second rebuttal.
Pam is correct. The last 2 years have been a very difficult time in our county's history, and there has been a lack of cooperation in many cases, a lot of debate and discussion. Now we need to move forward, though. We need to quit looking backwards. We need to look forward to the future, to working together cooperatively, and I am committed to doing that. Thank you.
We'll now be moving on to our second question of the day. That question is, what specific plans or initiatives would you pursue to increase economic opportunity and job growth in the county? Pam, you will answer first.
Well, for 20 years we've all been hearing that we need to get infrastructure into the county, and that's a given. But the cost is astronomical. That's been our problem since I joined county government in 1991. The challenge is to find a way to pay for the infrastructure. And I believe that that has to be met with cooperation between our towns and the county. It's not, bringing infrastructure is not something that we can do all at one time. We have seen some small strides. We see gas line coming up Route 40. But I believe what we would need to do is to grow from our towns. We have 3 major towns along Route 40, and it only makes sense to start with the towns and grow outward. And as that section builds in, then we go on to the next one. Additionally, I think we need to have a more friendly atmosphere for businesses to come to. Thank you.
And Tari, your response?
The successful future of Cecil County depends on bringing businesses that bring jobs here. I have one of my initiatives that I would like to do is to streamline and reduce regulation whenever possible. As most of us know, much of our regulation comes from the federal and state government, but it's still possible for us to look at those regulations and see where they don't make sense, and then initiate legislation to either reduce or eliminate that. From a county perspective, what we need to do, I believe, is really look at the barriers that are preventing businesses from coming here or from expanding, and look at how we can reduce those regulations for our businesses so we can expand, create more jobs for our community. One thing that I've learned over the past 2 years is that we'll get very little help from the state. And with our current economic condition, the possibility of getting funding from the state for economic development and for job increasing is very minimal. So what we're going to have to do, I believe, is do it from within. What I will advocate for is a position, and I've already worked with our economic development director in discussions on this, is work for a position that creates, is a business development person, essentially works on coordinating all the efforts between permits and inspections, DPW, and our Department of Public Works, to work together to help someone who would like to create a business here or would like to expand to overcome any barriers that they may have. I'll pay for this out of the slots revenue, so it will not be a burden to the taxpayers. Thank you.
And Pam, your 30-second rebuttal.
I don't have one, thank you.
Moving on, we'll now address our third question of the day. In your opinion, what should the relationship between taxes and services in the county be?
It's a really great question, because I think that we all understand that in order to have services, we have to have taxes. Yet no one likes the taxes part. We all want our services. And what has to happen is a balance between those. I believe that we need to take a look at what services are being provided that are not essential to core government services. Things like public safety, education, and regulation are things that are required, and there are many other things that the state and federal government require as well. But those things that are not required, we need to look at streamlining or reducing it in all cases possible, so that we can provide excellent county services with the least amount of expenditure possible. Thank you.
Certainly we need to provide core services. I think in recent years we've seen a drift of a lot of special interest groups get the attention of government. I think we need to come back to the center. Most people want good roads, so we need to get back to the center, get the core services, and we need to get away from taxing and then seeing how much we can spend. It needs to be the other way around. We should only raise enough tax revenue to provide for those core services. Thank you.
No rebuttal.
Moving on to our fourth question of the day. In your opinion, how should the county address the tier maps mandated by the state in Senate Bill 236? We're going to start with Pam on this question.
Well, clearly, the county has to submit a map. There's been a lot of argument which map to submit. Should we submit a map? Should we not? If we don't submit a map, the state will make our choice for us. I think what we need to address is the problem of the state trying to dictate to the county how the county will be managed. In order to, for purposes of submitting a map to the state, I believe we should follow our comprehensive plan. That plan was put together by 40-some people, has gone through all the vetting process, and frankly, it's a very good plan. So we should follow our comprehensive plan as closely as possible, while still recognizing that property owners do have rights, and it is important to support those rights and find a balance between things. Thank you.
And Tari, your response?
I have been a strong advocate for personal property rights, and especially against the Senate bill requirement of a tier map. Essentially, I believe that it takes away people's personal property rights and devalues their property, and I know that there's a lot of discussion and debate about that. But the bottom line is that what the tier map requires is for us to put all of our land into one of 4 tiers, Tier 4 being the most restrictive. While it's very important that we use our comprehensive plan, and yes, I agree, we need to submit a map. I believe that that map needs to have the least amount of land in Tier 4 possible, and I'm advocating for a map to be submitted to the state that includes basically our rural legacy areas, areas that we've already put into ag preservation, and forested areas, and areas that we've already designated for preservation, but no more than that. We must fight against the state on this. I feel very strongly about that. Very involved with the Rural County Coalition, and have advocated on the state level through my experience with the Maryland Association of Counties to explain to and work with other counties to help them understand how this affects our rural counties and our rural way of life. Thank you.
I think it's important to remember that the county has had the goal of land preservation for many, many years. We have special funds set aside for this. There is a TDR program, transfer of development rights, there's purchase of development rights. And I believe these programs, if allowed to function, will support our goal of land preservation without interference from the state.
Moving on to question 5. Would you support the county funding $10.3 million towards the purchasing and renovation of the former Cecil building for an updated Cecil County Public School School of Technology? Tari, I believe this is your question.
Okay, thank you. I definitely support this initiative. Cecil County Public Schools came to the commissioners in January or February of this year to discuss this option and what they had done so far in terms of due diligence. The plan that they presented and the information that they presented was overwhelmingly in favor of the Cecil building being an excellent possibility to expand our School of Technology. As most of you know, we have had a comprehensive technical high school as part of our capital improvement program for a number of years. However, the numbers of students simply haven't materialized to support funding that. In the meantime, we still have 150 students on our waiting list for technology programs. So clearly there's a need here. This building has been reduced significantly in price. I've toured inside of it. It is ideally suited for a technical school and the increased and expansion of technical programs, and be a real asset to Cecil County Public Schools, not only now, but for the future. Thank you.
Pam, your response.
I also believe the Cecil building has the potential to be an excellent comprehensive high school. I'm probably not quite as willing to jump in with both feet, but I do support the initiative of the county purchasing, taking the contract out, and that being said, it would have a great exit clause. But we need to be able to move on to find out, yes or no, definitively, will this building work for our purposes? And to do that, I think we need to have a small group of third-party, unbiased representatives to go over the building, make sure it is suitable for us. And if it's not suitable, we need to move on. We need to find a way to get a comprehensive high school for our children. Clearly, many of the people in this county cannot afford college. We need skilled trades workers. That's where my sons have gone, and I believe that is the best future for Cecil County. Thank you.
Could I have 30 seconds to
Absolutely.
respond to that? There has been an enormous amount of work done in terms of research. And while I agree with Pam that the next obvious step is to submit a deposit with an exit clause that allows us to recover any monies put down on it, I don't believe that we need an independent group to research this. This is part of the process. There's already been a number of people who've looked at this, groups who've looked at it. We've had the State Department of Education come down and take a look at it. Our Economic Development Commission has researched the issue, and they've presented a letter of support to the commissioners also. So I believe it's time now to move ahead with the due diligence process and look at how this really truly will fit our needs.
Moving on to our 6th question of the day. As county executive, what specific plans or initiatives would you pursue to decrease crime and fight rampant substance abuse in the county? Pam, I believe this is your question to take first.
The drug abuse problem in our county is overwhelming. It's appalling to me that we have one of the worst drug abuse rates in the state and probably in the country. I don't think that there is anything that one individual can do besides there's some really good initiatives between Department of Social Services, our Sheriff's Office, our Department of Health. And I think the executive's job will be to provide an atmosphere conducive to these various departments working together. I think ultimately we've got to find the root cause. Why are we experiencing this substance abuse? I think it goes down to the neighborhood level. We need to develop more pride in our neighborhoods. We need to clean up, frankly, some of our neighborhoods. And we need to have an atmosphere where drug abuse will not be tolerated. It's very sad. It just permeates our whole society. And I think it's not something one individual can tackle, but it's certainly going to take a group effort. And I can provide the leadership and the team atmosphere to get that done. Thank you.
Illegal and prescription drug abuse is an extremely difficult problem in Cecil County, and I think the last year has brought to the surface how our community is impacted in so many different ways. Our drug use is directly related to our crime, and our crime statistics are very high, especially compared to other counties throughout the state. We have been involved in the Local Management Board of Social Services, and I serve as the ex officio commissioner on that. We are developing a community-wide based plan to deal with the problem, not only on the surface, but the root of the problem, in understanding what is creating the drug and illegal drug and prescription drug problem in Cecil County, so that we can deal with it. That plan is currently in process. It's going to take a while to get it done, but I'm confident that this plan will be something that will really be an asset to Cecil County. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's other communities out there who have dealt with this, and there are other models out there that'll help us to deal with this. And I'm very excited about being part of the solution to this problem. Thank you.
And Pam, your response?
No rebuttal, thank you.
Okay. Moving on to our 7th and final question of the day. Since the Cecil County SPCA terminated its contract with the county for animal control on August 30th, the county has operated on an interim plan. As county executive, how would you address the lack of a specified animal control authority in the county? And Terry, it's your question to field.
This is close and personal for me because I've had a front row seat to this. Yes, it's true. The SPCA terminated their contract with us for animal control services effective August 30th. And we put out a request for proposal. However, in the meantime, we knew that we were going to need an interim animal control plan. And county staff put that together. It's been quite a learning process. And we've tweaked that plan as we have gone on, because there have been needs that have come up that we haven't anticipated. There are things that have happened that we didn't really know quite how to deal with. But as time has gone on, we have tweaked the plan. We have added more resources for citizens to go to. It's imperative that we have excellent animal control in our county. Currently, right now, we're evaluating the proposal, and I anticipate that we will have hopefully a contract in place very soon. But what I've learned about animal control is that how important our animals are to our community. Not only do we need to have good regulation in place that protects the animals, but also gives our citizens the ability to protect themselves against nuisance animals. I'm looking forward to an animal control ordinance that will do exactly both those things. Thank you.
And Pam, your response?
This is an example of one of the issues that has become ruled by emotion more so than common sense. And I say that because Chapter 9 was originally on the books to provide animal control, to protect the citizens from the dangers of nuisance animals. There was never, in Chapter 209, there was never anything to address animal care standards. And there probably should have been. But first and foremost, we have to control the animals. So I think we need to look at it as a two-part issue. First and foremost, we've got to get back to having some kind of effective, safe animal control. I would address that by, I think ultimately we have to get an animal control agency that has the training, the manpower, and the facility to manage stray and nuisance animals in the county. Then separately and apart from this issue, we can look at standards of care and custody of animals. But it's just crucial that we are able to collect and house our stray animals. And frankly, we have to be able to find something to do with those that can't be rehomed. And sometimes the answer is euthanasia. I'm an animal lover myself, and I would never want to see that happen. But there are animals that are a true danger to society, and we have to be able to control them. Okay, thank you.
And your 30-second response?
No response. Thank you.
No response. Okay. At the end of our debate today, we're going to leave some time for each candidate to give a 1-minute closing argument for speech. Since we gave Terry the first question, we'll give Pam the first answer.
I'm here today to ask for your support as our first county executive. The questions that we've had today, while they are hot button issues and they're very important, they are single issues. I think what's most important in our county executive is the big picture. Implementing charter is going to be a tremendous challenge. It's going to take somebody with years of experience, with a broad background. I have broad experience in financial management. As you know, I was treasurer for 12 years and worked with the county for 8 years before that. Additionally, I have experience in personnel issues. I have broad experience in the day-to-day workings of county government. Over the years, I've come to know the people of Cecil County, and I have relationships with people in other counties that I can draw on if we have problems or if we need some guidance as we move forward. I also have the team building expertise. I would challenge anybody to look at the treasurer's office during the 12 years that I was treasurer as an example of how a government office can run efficiently, cost effectively, and still provide excellent service to our citizens. So again, I'm asking for your support on November 6th, and I thank you very much.
And Tari,
Okay.
closing speech.
Thank you. This is undoubtedly one of the most important elections, not only in Cecil County, but in our nation as well. For the first time, Cecil County is going to have a full-time county executive that's responsible and accountable to you. It's going to take a unique person to handle that job, and I believe that I am the person that can handle that job. My experience in budgets and finance have helped me to individually find over $500,000 in expenditure cuts, and I've cut the tax rate. And I've fought against the shift of expenditures from Annapolis and from the state. I've supported the forming of the Citizens Budget Advisory Committee to look outside the box for expenditure reductions, and I created the Citizens Corner, where citizens and commissioners meet informally for a time of questions, dialogue, and answers. Both initiatives have paved the way for more citizen involvement and participation. I've increased Cecil County's visibility, reputation, and credibility in Annapolis and across the state, and I've developed excellent working relationships across the community and with local and state and federal elected officials. We face many challenges, but as Cecil County's first county executive, I'm committed to working with the new council and with you in resolving the issues for our challenges and making our community an even better place to live, work, and play. Thank you. I thank you for your support, and I ask for your vote.
And that'll about do it for the 2012 County Executive Debate here at the Cecil Whig. We appreciate your time and your patience as you really try to think about who deserves your vote on November 6th. We hope to see all of you at the polls.